Leaders saying, how do we reverse obesity? How do we cure obesity? They're not asking that. They're saying, how can we actually say obesity is not your fault? Oprah, who's involved with Weight Watchers, just apologized for preaching personal accountability over the past decades. She said it's not personal accountability. We're supporting Ozempic. This is becoming, obesity is becoming something. You think Oprah got paid? She's highly involved with Weight Watchers. Yeah, Weight Watchers has shifted from a personal accountability organization that it's been preaching for decades and is now a prescriber of Ozempic. They've totally changed because Ozempic is a better business model because you never go off of it.
Well, it seems Oprah finally chose the wrong day to be iconic, as Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly teamed up to turn her legacy into a pile of motivational debris. Tucker came armed with his signature smirk, while Megyn wielded her wit, and together they deconstructed the queen of daytime TV's empire as if it were built on diet books and vague affirmations. One moment, she's the voice of empowerment. The next, she's dodging punchlines like they're flying yoga mats. What did they say that rattled the couch queen? Oh, it's mercilessly entertaining.
Now that that bill has gone, it hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely, and when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
We already knew that, Oprah. She said that at the debate. Oprah is no longer in the business of staying up on the news. I bet she didn't even watch the damn debate. She's reading undoubtedly from blue cards her staff gave her. That's how the Oprah Winfrey show was shot. Oprah didn't have to think of her own questions. I know. I've spoken with her executive producers over the years, all of them.
Picture this. Oprah Winfrey, once America's favorite feel-good guru, now on a studio stage clutching a microphone like she's auctioning off air. Why? Because she's moderating a political event. Not just any event, but a billion-dollar candidate's thinly veiled campaign rally. What's jaw-dropping isn't just the optics, it's the optics paired with a seven-figure paycheck. That's right. Oprah turned journalism into a cash cow.
Because rap music attacks women. I know the feeling. When I had a son, I stopped watching Oprah because it was just too anti-male, and I felt like I didn't want to bring him up in a home where Oprah was constantly attacking men.
Let's break it down. She reportedly took home over $1 million to host a Harris town hall, though some sources suggest the sum was even higher. Rather than ask hard-hitting questions, Oprah delivered Kamala Harris a polished stage complete, with influencer-style aesthetics and the backing of Hollywood royalty. This wasn't an interview. It was a full-blown product launch, complete with all the bells, whistles, and celebrity endorsements.
When was the last time Oprah actually spent time hanging out with a working-class person in America? She's on her Montecito estate with one of the most beautiful mansions known to man. And that is why she did not follow up with Kamala Harris in response to that stupid gun question with, well, you're on camera saying that you favor mandatory gun buybacks. So how would that work? The Oprah enthusiasm worked when it was genuine. When she first hit the scene in like the 1980s and she was fresh out of Chicago, she was in Chicago for the launch of her national talk show. She was something electric and interesting and authentic, you know? I miss Fat Oprah. She was just genuine. Now this thin Ozempic Oprah has lost, along with the pounds, her heart, her sense of authenticity. And what we're getting these days is this cleansed, elite, billionaire version who wants to scrub.
Megyn Kelly didn't even try to mask her disdain for the spectacle. She called it affected and forced, pointing out that when Oprah's warm, relatable vibe shifts to that of a Broadway dramatist forgetting her lines, things have officially gone off script. Oprah's facial expressions told their own story. Cue the deep sighs, soft gasps, and perfectly timed close-ups. Authenticity. More like performance art wrapped in a thin veil of journalism.
Harris in the news this week for, among other reasons, having run her billion-dollar campaign down to the studs when it comes to her cash. She's reportedly $20 million in debt. We told you the story the other day. Well, now the reports are that she blew the vast majority of that last $20 million on stars. Now, so far, we've only had one star deny receiving a direct payment, and that person is Oprah Winfrey. The reporting is, and we've seen the verification via various publications, that Harpo Productions, her production company, was paid $1 million for that farce of a town hall that Oprah put on. What a joke. So Oprah's production company got $1 million.
And then there's the great Ozempic transformation narrative. Millions watched as Oprah visibly slimmed down, but according to Kelly, it came at a cost. She looks empty, Megyn quipped, like she traded joy for whatever the mirror demanded. This month, losing 50 pounds, it seems, also meant losing something deeper. Kelly's verdict: thin, not as praise but as a cautionary tale. The irony, of course, is rich. Oprah's brand thrives on transformation and reinventionals weight, gain followers, and stay marketable. So shedding pounds in this context isn't self-improvement. It's shedding attendees from your personal pity party.
Winfrey, she's worth $3 billion. She's up there talking about all the racism she encountered.
But okay, so Oprah Winfrey is American, but Kamala Harris, Jamaicans are not Americans, A. B, not oppressed, and he said they're actually very successful in the United States. Caribbeans in general, I think, make more than native-born whites. They're successful, they're entrepreneurial. They're not part of the history of racism and slavery in the United States, just the opposite. They just showed up here. So this is...
Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson critiqued the spectacle as a political infomercial dressed up as civic engagement. It's not a town hall, it's a press release, he quipped. Tucker laid it out. Oprah gets paid, the campaign gets promoted, Hollywood gets exposure, and America, well, America gets a round of applause without follow-ups about inflation or the border. If this is progress, backlash might be more productive. And Oprah, she didn't come alone. She brought the A-list cavalry, Julia Roberts nodding earnestly, Chris Rock delivering a cameo, still no punchline there, and Reese Witherspoon offering a supportive smile that could sway a Hallmark card, if not public policy. Megyn Kelly called it the crowning achievement of Oprah's journalistic decline, ouch, and the cherry on top. Nobody questioned Oprah's $1 million payday for moderator-level work. A lesser-known figure would be roasted for cashing in on such an arrangement. But Oprah, she slides through the criticism like a stealthy ninja of influence, untouchable, unaccountable.
Her schoolgirl affectations and body movements. Okay, ready? Here it is. Okay. She raises herself off her chair. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about this. Okay.
You're so right.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something you haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
It's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Right.
The hypocrisy is glaring. Oprah, the preacher of empowerment and self-reflection, has become a glorified PR agent for campaign talking points. If anyone else tried this stunt, the media would treat them like Rupert Murdoch pulling strings at Fox News. But it's Oprah, so the response is silence sprinkled with polite applause. Megyn Kelly didn't hold back, saying Oprah's transition from relatable to elitist has left her looking as out of touch as a penthouse-dwelling sage dispensing wisdom from atop her gilded balcony. Sure, Oprah came from humble beginnings, but now she exists in such rarefied air that regular people's struggles might as well be on another planet. And that weight loss narrative, Megyn reframed it. Shedding pounds seems to have shed something deeper, her soul, her warmth. The irony, of course, is that Oprah built a career on reinvention, but this latest transformation feels less like a phoenix rising and more like a brand recalibrating for marketability.
Let me tell you something, people. This is yet another piece of evidence that Oprah Winfrey is fake news. News people do not require the campaign to pay us so we can interview them. I did a town hall of sorts in this election when I sat down with the Tim Walz Stolen Valor former colleagues. Do you think I charged them to set up this? No, I didn't. Megyn Kelly paid for it.
And what did Oprah gain from the spectacle? A shiny production credit, rehearsed talking points, and another viral look-me-in-the-eye TikTok moment. She turned what should have been a serious political forum into a high-budget talk show, complete with soft lighting and canned warmth. Forget journalism, this was spin with a bow on it. Oprah's ability to weaponize trust and monetize prestige is unparalleled. Past polls show her name boosts credibility for candidates, so everyone wins except the public, who gets nothing but prepackaged narratives. Oprah handed out endorsements like they were cars on her old show. You get a candidate. You get a candidate. Integrity, however, was conspicuously absent. This wasn't democracy. It was daytime TV with confetti cannons and zero accountability.
Here's Oprah on abortion.
If you do not have autonomy over this, if you cannot control when and how you choose to bring your children into this world and how they are raised and supported, there is no American dream.
There's no American dream without abortion. That to me sounds like a woman that's had an abortion. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, it's such a grotesque and crazy thing to say that clearly it's coming from.
Here's the kicker. Oprah's brand has always been about empowerment, giving hope, offering wisdom, inspiring change. But during that town hall, there were no tough questions, only polished platitudes. It wasn't empowerment. It was image management. Picture a dentist charging $1 million to brush someone's teeth not because the job required it, but because they could. That's Oprah here, brushing the candidate's gums, polishing her own brand, and walking away with stock options in the campaign's messaging house. The audience, they got the bristles, not the bill. This wasn't a roast, it was an indictment. Oprah, once the symbol of accountability and truth, has become part of the very system she was supposed to challenge.
You guys hear, Oprah Winfrey? She turned into some sort of nutcase. She's a nutcase. Listen to her last night saying what she thinks the stakes are of this election.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again. We are voting to save ourselves from this precipice of danger.
Would you spare me the drama? I realize you made $1 billion in the drama business. Your tears, which you could no longer produce anymore. We all saw you run out of the tears. You got $1 billion. You stopped feeling empathy for the people who came on your show. We're going to have elections again. Just take a deep breath. You're good. May not turn out the way you want, but we're going to.
And then there's the legacy laundering. Oprah's no longer riding on past triumphs. She's scrubbing them shiny to distract from the fact she's now a deluxe campaign spokesperson. Once a cultural touchstone, she's morphed into a high-budget, moral accessory. Her credibility used to mean something. Now it's a product placement. She's gone from voice of the voiceless to pipeline for pre-approved rhetoric. Every performance is pre-installed. Each pause perfectly timed. Each moment engineered for maximum effect. And let's talk about what's not said, like the border crisis or inflation dodged with the finesse of a slow-motion action star.
Oprah is admitting she's on Ozempic. And I know this is, our team asked you what was interesting to you today. This was on your list and mine. Because of course, you've done a lot of shows on Ozempic. I've listened to some of them. We've talked about this, there's a bunch of drugs. That's just one of the name brands. And now she said she originally wouldn't go on it because she thought it would be, quote, cheating. But now she's admitted that her recent weight loss is due to Ozempic.
Oprah's alliances speak volumes. She's surrounded by insulated entertainers and curated thinkers, a gated community of ideas. Her storytelling, once raw and magnetic, now feels as polished and predictable as an award show montage. Replaced her with a hologram, and nobody would notice. Her every woman persona, long gone. She's not one of us. She's Ms. Winfrey, someone whose dog's birthday party likely costs more than most people's cars. She's not unaware of her power. That's what makes it worse. Oprah isn't naive, she's strategic. She's not breaking the system. She is the system.